Most people over 60 are told the same thing about their heart. Cut the salt, take the pill, and stop worrying. It sounds sensible. It sounds safe. But here is what nobody tells you. Cutting salt alone does not protect the heart that carries you up your own stairs. Heart disease is still the leading cause of death for adults past 60 in the United States, Britain, Canada, and Australia. Cardiology clinics see it every single day, and yet the most powerful tools sit quietly in your own kitchen, not in the pharmacy. So today I am giving you 5 ordinary kitchen staples that quietly support your heart after 60. Plus, the one insight about the number one item that almost no 12-minute appointment ever has time to cover. The number one staple on this list is something almost nobody talks about. Stay with me until the end, because that one can change how you approach the next 10 years. Here is the problem with the way heart care usually works. The average appointment lasts about 12 minutes. In that time, your doctor has to check your numbers, review your medicines, and send you on your way. There is almost no time left to talk about the food on your plate. So prevention gets reduced to 2 words: eat healthy. But eat healthy is not a plan, and it has never lowered a single blood pressure reading on its own. Let me be clear about something. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Everything on today's list is food you can buy at any ordinary shop, because this is not really about numbers on a chart. It is about whether you can carry the groceries up the steps, rise from a low car seat, and stay in your own home. A strong heart is what keeps that independence in your own hands. So tell me in the comments where you are watching from and your age. I want to know who is in the room with me tonight, from Florida to Manchester to Sydney. Now before the countdown, you need one idea, and it holds everything else together. Almost every heart problem past 60 comes back to one place: the lining of your blood vessels. That thin inner lining is called the endothelium. When it is smooth and flexible, blood flows freely and pressure stays low. When it grows stiff and inflamed, pressure climbs and the heart has to strain. Think of your arteries like the old copper pipes in a house. When the pipes are clean and smooth, water moves quietly at low pressure. When they crust over and narrow, the pump has to work harder and harder to push the same water through. Your heart is that pump, working every second of every day. The 5 staples on this list each help keep those pipes smooth, flexible, and clear. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to everything that follows. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. It genuinely helps this channel reach the people who need it. Let us begin the countdown at number 5. Old-fashioned rolled oats. Not the sugary instant packets, but plain rolled or steel-cut oats. Oats carry a special kind of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. When it meets water in your gut, it turns into a soft, thick gel. Picture a sponge moving slowly through your intestines. That gel traps cholesterol from your food and from your own bile, and carries it out of the body. Less cholesterol reabsorbed means less of it crusting the inside of those pipes we just talked about. The science here is old and solid. Health authorities have allowed oats to carry an official heart health claim for more than 20 years, because large reviews keep showing the same cholesterol drop. Here is the protocol. Aim for about 1/2 cup of dry rolled oats most mornings. That gives you roughly 3 to 4 grams of beta-glucan, which is the amount linked to lower cholesterol. Cook it with water or low-fat milk and give it a full 5 minutes so the fiber can swell. The common mistake is drowning it in honey, brown sugar, or syrup, which undoes much of the good. Sweeten it instead with cinnamon and half a sliced banana. If your digestion is sensitive, start with a smaller 1/4 cup and build up over 2 weeks. Always drink a full glass of water alongside, because fiber without fluid can cause bloating. And if you take medicine for your thyroid or your heart, take it at least 1 hour apart from your oats, since fiber can slow absorption. If oats ever leave you cramping or uncomfortable, ease back. That is your signal, not a reason to push through. Here is a simple pairing that doubles the benefit. Stir 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed into your bowl. The flax adds a different fiber and a healthy fat, and you will hear much more about it before this video ends. But oats can only work on the cholesterol side of the story. They do almost nothing for the flexibility of the vessel walls themselves, and that is exactly the gap our number 4 staple was made to fill. Number 4 is extra virgin olive oil, the green, cloudy, cold-pressed kind, not the pale, refined oil in the giant plastic jug. Olive oil helps the heart in two ways at once. Its main fat is a monounsaturated fat that is gentle on your arteries. But the real magic is in its polyphenols, the natural plant compounds that give good oil its peppery bite. Think of those polyphenols like a fine oil that keeps a door hinge from rusting and stiffening. They calm inflammation and help that vessel lining stay smooth and springy. This is not a fad. A large trial in the Mediterranean region, published in a major medical journal, followed thousands of older adults and found that a diet rich in extra virgin olive oil lowered heart attacks and strokes. Here is how to use it. Aim for about 3 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil spread across your day. Use it raw where you can, drizzled over vegetables, soup, or bread, since high heat wears down those delicate polyphenols. When you do cook with it, keep the heat gentle and medium, not smoking hot. Look for a harvest date on the bottle and use it within a few months of opening. The peppery tickle at the back of your throat is a good sign. That is the polyphenols talking. Olive oil is very safe, but it is still calorie dense, so measure it with a spoon rather than free pouring. If you are watching your weight, swap it in for butter or margarine rather than adding it on top. Start with 1 tablespoon a day if your stomach is not used to much oil. If rich food tends to upset you, spread it across your meals rather than all at once. Here is the pairing. Drizzle your olive oil over a plate of leafy greens or tomatoes. The healthy fat helps your body absorb the protective vitamins in those vegetables, so the two work as a team. Still, oats and olive oil work mostly on cholesterol and inflammation. Neither one gives your heart the specific building block it needs to keep a steady rhythm and calm pressure. For that, we need to open a humble little tin, and that is number 3. Number 3 is canned fish, and my favorite is the humble sardine. Sardines, mackerel, or pink salmon, the small oily fish that come in an inexpensive tin. These fish are packed with the long-chain omega-3 fats, the ones your body cannot easily make on its own. These fats work like a fine lubricant for the whole system. They help your blood flow smoothly instead of clumping. They calm inflammation in those vessel walls, and they help steady the electrical rhythm of the heart itself. A well-oiled machine runs quietly, and that is what these fats help your heart do. This is why heart specialists are so consistent on this point. The American Heart Association has long recommended 2 servings of oily fish each week for exactly these reasons. So here is the target. Eat 2 tins of sardines, or 1 to 2 servings of oily fish across the week, about 2 portions in total. One standard tin is roughly 3 to 4 ounces, which is a perfect single serving. Choose the ones packed in water or in olive oil, rather than heavy sauces. If you buy them in brine, drain and rinse them to wash away some of the added salt. The bones in sardines are soft, edible, and quietly full of calcium, so do not pick them out. If the strong flavor is too much, start with milder tinned salmon and mash it onto toast with lemon. Watch the salt if your blood pressure runs high, and reach for the no added salt tins when you can. This matters especially for smaller bodies, so go gently and build the habit slowly. And if you take a blood-thinning medicine, talk to your doctor before adding fish oil supplements, though the whole fish itself is generally fine. Here is a lovely pairing. Serve your sardines on top of a slice of whole grain toast with a squeeze of lemon. The vitamin C from the lemon helps your body use the iron in the fish, and the whole grain adds back some of that soluble fiber. But even the finest fish cannot do one important job. It does not deliver the mineral that directly counters salt and helps relax the pressure in your vessels. For that quiet powerhouse, we come to number 2. Number 2 is the humble bean, and I mean all of them. Lentils, chickpeas, black beans, and kidney beans, whether dried or from a tin. Beans help the heart through 2 doors at once. First, they are rich in potassium, the mineral that acts as the natural counterweight to salt. Think of salt and potassium like 2 ends of a seesaw that controls your blood pressure. Most of us pile weight on the salt side and leave the potassium side empty. Beans also bring their own soluble fiber, which sweeps out cholesterol just like the oats did. The eating pattern doctors recommend most for blood pressure is built on this very idea. It leans heavily on beans, lentils, and vegetables, and large studies show it lowers pressure within weeks. Here is the protocol. Aim for about 1/2 cup of cooked beans or lentils on most days of the week. That is roughly 1 small tin, drained 3 or 4 days a week to start. If you use tinned beans, Drain and rinse them well, which washes away up to 40% of the added salt. Add them to soups, stews, and salads, rather than making them a whole meal at first. The common mistake is giving up after one gassy week, when your gut simply needs time to adjust. To keep digestion comfortable, start with just 2 tablespoons and build up slowly over a couple of weeks. Rinsing well and cooking them soft makes them far easier on an older stomach. If you take a water pill or a blood pressure medicine that raises potassium, talk to your doctor before loading up on beans. And if a certain bean leaves you bloated, switch to gentler lentils rather than pushing through discomfort. Here is the pairing that makes them shine. Cook your beans in a soup with a good drizzle of that extra virgin olive oil from number 4. The healthy fat and the fiber together slow digestion, steady your blood sugar, and keep you full for hours. Now, beans give you potassium and fiber, and they are wonderful. But there is one staple that does something none of these 4 can. It lowers blood pressure so directly that a clinical trial compared it to a medicine. That is the crown of this list, and it is number 1. And here it is, the number 1 staple, the one almost nobody talks about, ground flaxseed. Not the whole seeds, which pass right through you, but flaxseed ground into a fine meal. Ground flaxseed is quietly one of the most powerful foods for blood pressure ever studied. It works through 3 doors at the same time. First, it carries a plant-based omega-3 fat that calms inflammation in the vessel walls. Second, it is unusually rich in compounds called lignans, which help the arteries relax and widen. Third, it brings a thick, soluble fiber that lowers cholesterol, just like the oats. Picture a stiff, rusted hinge on an old gate that you can barely swing. The lignans and fats in flax are like working oil into that hinge until the gate opens smoothly again. That is what it helps do for the stiff arteries that drive high pressure past 60. And this is not a gentle claim. A clinical trial published in the journal Hypertension gave older adults about 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed a day for 6 months. The drop in their blood pressure was one of the largest ever seen from a single food, on the order of what some medicines achieve. So here is the full protocol, and this is the one to write down. Aim for 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed every day, which is about 25 to 30 grams. It must be ground, not whole, or the goodness stays locked inside the shell. Buy it pre-ground or grind whole seeds in a small coffee grinder and keep them cold. Store the ground flax in the refrigerator or freezer because those healthy fats turn stale at room temperature. Stir your 2 tablespoons into oatmeal, yogurt, soup, or a glass of water. Split it if you like, 1 tablespoon in the morning and 1 in the evening. Always drink a full large glass of water with it, since this fiber is powerful. Give it time, because the blood pressure benefit in that trial built slowly over weeks and months, not overnight. The common mistake is buying whole seeds, using them once, and quietly giving up. Now let us keep this safe, because flax is strong. Start with just 1 teaspoon a day, not the full amount, and build up over 2 weeks. That gentle ramp lets your digestion adjust without bloating or cramping. Always pair it with plenty of fluid through the day, never dry by the spoonful. If you take a blood pressure medicine or a blood thinner, talk to your doctor before starting, because flax can add to their effect. And if you feel bloated or crampy, ease back to a smaller amount. That discomfort is your signal to slow down, not push through. Here is the pairing that brings this whole list together. Stir your 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed into your morning bowl of oats from number 5. The oats and the flax stack 2 different soluble fibers, while the flax adds the blood pressure benefit the oats cannot. 1 simple breakfast bowl, and you have quietly put 3 of these 5 staples to work at once. Remember, at the start, I promised the number 1 staple could change how you approach the next 10 years. This is why. High blood pressure is the single biggest driver of strokes, and a stroke is often what steals a person's independence overnight. A humble 2 tablespoons of ground seed every morning is one of the simplest ways to protect the years you have left. Let me show you how this comes together in a real-life shape. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation and nutrition literature, a 74-year-old woman we will call Margaret. Her blood pressure sat stubbornly high, and her cholesterol was creeping up year after year. She was tired of adding another pill and wanted to try the food side first, with her doctor's blessing. So she started simply, with her doctor still watching her numbers. Each morning she ate half a cup of oats with 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed stirred in. She cooked with extra virgin olive oil and added beans to her soups 3 times a week. Twice a week she ate a tin of sardines on whole grain toast. She changed nothing else dramatic, and she kept every one of her appointments. Over about 3 months, Her doctor watched her blood pressure ease down step by step. Her cholesterol numbers improved enough that her doctor was genuinely pleased. She felt steadier climbing her own stairs and lighter through the afternoon. None of it was a miracle. It was 5 ordinary staples doing quiet work every single day. So let us turn all of this into a plan you can start on right now. Here is your simple checklist, and every step has a number, so nothing is vague. Tonight, do one thing. Add 1 bag of ground flaxseed to your shopping list. Keep it in the refrigerator the moment you get home, so those fats stay fresh. Tomorrow morning, cook 1/2 cup of oats and stir in 1 teaspoon of ground flaxseed to start gently. Drink 1 full glass of water alongside it every single time. This week, buy 2 tins of sardines or salmon and eat them on 2 separate days. Also this week, swap your usual cooking fat for extra virgin olive oil, aiming for 2 to 3 tablespoons a day. And this week, drain and rinse 1 tin of beans, then add it to a soup or salad on 3 days out of 7. Over the next 2 weeks, slowly raise your flaxseed from 1 teaspoon up toward the full 2 tablespoons a day. If your stomach ever complains, ease back by 1 step. That is patience, not failure. Keep every doctor's appointment and carry these 5 staples with you to talk them through. That is 5 foods and a small handful of numbers, with nothing exotic on the list. You do not need all 5 perfect tomorrow. You need 1 started tonight. Small steps, taken daily, are what move the numbers that matter. Before you go, think of someone in your life who should hear this. Maybe it is a parent, a partner, or a friend who is tired of being handed another pill with no explanation. Share this video with them, because the right food on the table protects the whole family, not just 1 plate. And tell me in the comments which of these 5 you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next on this channel. If you want more of the science a 12-minute appointment never has time for, subscribe and stay with me. This channel exists for one reason, to help you keep your health in your own hands. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. So start tonight, keep it simple, and let these 5 staples do their quiet work. I'm Nathan Reeves. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.